Hey everybody, welcome to Hear Us Out. I am Patrick.
And I'm Paul. How's it going?
And he's Paul. And we're here to talk to you about Halloween stuff. Everybody does Halloween episodes on their YouTube channels around Halloween, but ours is different because ours happened in what month of the year, Paul?
Spooktober.
Never get tired of it. And he gives it a different line reading every time. And a different hand gesture, if you'll notice. Long time viewers, sometimes it's both hands, sometimes it's Mr. Burns, sometimes it's a one hand.
I was holding my phone because I was putting the chat up on my phone so that I could easily read it.
See your chatskis. Well, folks, we're going to talk to you about 2022's choices, I guess, for some of the more recent entries that people want your attention for this weekend and next weekend. The big weekends for people watching scary movies, even for people like me who aren't really into scary movies. So, full disclosure, folks, horror guy is the other one, car guy is this one. So this would be his area of expertise, and where I go, oh, I don't know, and then he has to say to me, but you're not really into scary movies anyway, and I'll go, yeah, that's fair. I'm being uncool. So, Paul, we've got a short selection of things to kind of review and tell the folks what we think. What one are you most excited about to talk about first? What excites you most?
Ooh, probably the Hellraiser one.
Sure.
Do you want to break? Should we just break and just tell them the ones that we're going to review? Are you okay?
Sure, I'm trying not to cough into the mic.
Have I surprised you with my choice?
Yeah, I know. I'm already scared. No. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna cover some Werewolf by Night, some Hellraiser, some Hocus Pocus 2, and Halloween Ends.
Halloween Ends.
Or does it? Which is what the subtitle should be. Halloween Ends, or will it ever? So let's kick into Hellraiser then first, folks. Paul. Oh, you think I know?
Just to clarify, I know that there's the Watcher. Netflix has also come out with a string of series of Halloween films as well, and series, which is the Midnight Club, the Watcher, there's also a Hocus Pocus kind of counter, which is like the Curse of Bridge something. And then there's the Stranger and stuff like that.
There's also Smile in the cinema, and haven't got a chance to see it, so we're just not covering it.
Yeah. So those ones have just come out. So we haven't had a chance to kind of go through those ones. Also, Del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosity comes out next Tuesday, so we obviously haven't gotten a time to do things. You might hear us in our later episode of our October roundup, but we'll see what happens.
And so the selection we picked, Paul, pretty much worldwide are available on video on demand or streaming services, and we've crossed the streaming service kind of divide as well, so we've got a little bit from everybody. There's some, Peacock to Hulu to Netflix to Disney to whatever else. So I'm just excited. I really want to give you your time in the sun with some horror stuff, and everybody can give out to me for being unfair and measuring them too harshly. And Hellraiser, Paul, is a good start. Hellraiser's a good start.
Yeah. So Hellraiser 2022 is essentially a soft reboot of the franchise from 1987, which was catapult into cult classic immediately, pretty much from it. It is This is the 11th installment of the Hellraiser franchise, and it is a soft reboot just for a kind of. I don't know. I think I'll be honest with you. By Hellraiser Judgment, it did get a little bit more ridiculous. Because they were but that's just the way it is. Hellraiser originally was a body horror film, specifically about a box, which a puzzle box that once you solve it, which is the Cenobites. Which is led by the High Priest Pinhead, more commonly known as Pinhead.
I don't think it's on his passport or driver's license. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't think that the Cenobites HR department. It's Pinhead.
He's Mr. Pinhead. First name George. George Pinhead. All round nice guy. Can't wear hats.
Yeah. Not very friendly with the kids. Don't leave them with small pets. So essentially this is a soft reboot. One of the biggest changes is that they've changed Pinhead from a male to a female Pinhead, which is as anyone who knows the Cenobites is not in any way a big deal. This is not something who is a fan of the franchise or who is going in on Hellraiser 2022 is going to notice any kind of difference. The actress who plays the new Pinhead was great, I have to say, very menacing, kind of thing. So, but yeah, so this is the soft reboot. Some changes as well are the puzzle box is changed a little bit, and some of the lore has changed just a tiny bit. They introduce quickly some of the characters that they don't introduce.
Can I act as the person who has I've only ever seen the first original Hellraiser, and then I watched this Hellraiser. I didn't get on board and watch the rest of the others. Did you say 11? So the other 10 or whatever. Yeah. Good God, I had no idea there were that many. But one of the most iconic images in horror movies, you know, you got Freddy Krueger's hand, you got the Mike Myers shape, you know, the whole boiler suit, knife, William Shatner mask. But Pinhead, for people who've never even seen Hellraiser, Pinhead is an image. You know, dude with nails in his head. That's it. Or now, lady with nails in her head. It's the whole nails in the head thing that kind of caught people's imagination. But then when you watch the movie, the original or the new one, okay, they're the Cenobites. It is essentially body horror stuff. That's where it is. But I gotta say, Paul, and pop culture said Hellraiser's a no-go for me, too scary for my soft soul. No. I'm as the non-horror guy, I can safely say the new one isn't that scary at all. It's not even, from kind of comparing it to the original, the whole body horror part, it's not even gross compared to the original. Like, the level of gross isn't really there. Not that I wanted it to be, I was kind of glad. So yeah, I actually found this, because I was expecting to be, you know, needing the new pair of underwear after it. No, I could have watched this in a house with, you know, all the lights off in the middle of the night with somebody making noise in another room, and I still wouldn't have got the frights.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, the classic kind of Hellraiser thing. It is more about the body horror kind of aspect of it. It isn't the suspense or not being able to see the monsters kind of thing. It is mostly about the body horror kind of aspect of it. Like, the first one starts off with a skeleton, with a human body reliquefying from an empty room, kind of thing. So like that's the that's the level.
Like, first one, very gross. The original, very gross. This one, it's a bit gross, but I was surprised how, because I had assumed with time that's passed and, you know, the way people are now more, let's say, battle hardened to the idea of rough stuff in movies. That's why I was a little bit worried, to be honest, that this was going to be the one out of all this list that I'd be like, oh no, it made me not feel good. I actually was surprised how tame it was. For you as a horror person, were you kind of surprised how tame it was?
I was enjoying, so as a body horror person, it was a little bit more tamer than I'm used to from the Hellraiser kind of franchise, I would guess. But the storyline was the story was a lot better. I gotta say, so they upped the storyline. Like, now I want to point out that it's not going to win any awards, but they upped it, kind of thing, where there's an actual reason to solve the puzzle box, kind of thing. Where in the original ones, so in the first 10, they didn't bring that concept in until, like, you know, very early on.
I love that you can say the first 10.
Yeah. Yeah, like the concept of the configurations and stuff like that actually meaning something and doing stuff wasn't brought in until later on. It was just essentially a puzzle box that like, it was rumored to bring you to the other worlds, and the problem was that, you know, the other worlds are awful.
Like, I will give you that from a story point of view, or at least what they're using to drive the plot, let's say. At least it makes a lick of sense now. You know, there's a certain amount of power hungriness that is universal that is behind all this. No spoilers here. But what I will say, Paul, and this is where we haven't talked before this, folks, me and Paul, so we don't actually know which one of us liked which film or didn't like which film. And I'm sensing that Paul liked Hellraiser, But because pop culture has just said, is the story there? I can watch it if there's story there. I would still say, from me, it's a big no. Because I thought it was too slow. And although couldn't agree with you more, there is definitely more sense to the plot and more natural driving to it. It wasn't for me. And the dislikable lead didn't help. I've never seen a movie not even try and make you care about the main character. It just seemed like she was there for story reasons, but they were kind of like, you don't have to root for her because we're all just waiting for the Cenobites to show up anyway. Which is, if you watch this movie, if you're a Hellraiser person, I'd say this is a really good Hellraiser, I imagine. But if you're not, I don't know if this isn't going to be a movie to change your mind about body horror or this type of movie. That's my take on it. I'm now going to throw it over for your thoughts on it, Paul. I'm assuming it's from a different angle altogether.
Yeah, so I would recommend this one. Even if you're a horror person, I'd say it's good. The body horror is fun. That is in it. The Cenobites are still menacing as all. They don't. But the one thing is that they don't joke around with them as much as they did in the original one. Like you first get to see Pinhead like nearly halfway through the movie, kind of thing, and then the rest of them don't get. The rest of them are just shown. Then later on, they get names and stuff like that. I enjoyed the as you said the plot vehicle to kind of move it along was a decent one. It's a lot better than the ones that have come before it. Like in fairness, if enough people have heard of the puzzle box kind of thing, eventually words are going to get around that it's just like everybody who seems to own this puzzle box seems to die, or disappear. And whereas this one, it had a better vehicle of kind of kind of moving the reason that someone will want to solve the puzzle box and stuff like that, moving on, kind of thing. Now, it's the body horror that is in it is quite. Some of it is tame and some of it isn't. Kind of thing. There's that kind of thing. I don't think it's people have gotten more used to body horror. I think it is a very much kind of, well, we can't really go really mad with this because otherwise, because that's the thing. I don't think Hulu would have been approving something like Saw.
They weren't going for hard or they weren't going for triple R rated here. Yeah,
because like I think that is my only problem with current day. Like Blumhouse and stuff like that are the only one. Like Blumhouse and a couple of others are the only ones that are going to get away with going very extreme with horror nowadays. Going to a mainstream which good studio is not really.
Yeah, and being a mainstream streamed movie, a streaming launch as well. So, Paul, I'm going to have to move us along because I've got an eye on the time to make sure we cover stuff. But I want to say, how about we do an 5-word review or something each? Because I would say, can't recommend, but if you're into this, then give it a go. That would be my thing. What about you? Because it is your thing, so it's going to be a fairer review.
A decent reboot of the Hellraiser franchise.
I think that's fair too, actually.
You know.
So then, should we save Halloween Ends till the end, Paul?
Yeah.
How about we go a bit more family friendly and head for Hocus Pocus 2? We've got a sequel on our list, folks, and at least this one doesn't have 11 films before it, or in the case of Halloween Ends, all of the films that have ever been made before it. So it's a genuine sequel. It's a follow-on from a much beloved original Hocus Pocus. Again, cards on the table. Hocus Pocus means very little to me. Not a big thing, but pretty much everybody I know, huge Hocus Pocus fans. The original film meant a lot. I'm a massive Bette Midler fan. Mightn't be able to tell by looking at me, everybody out there, but yes, I do love Bette Midler. So I was down for this. I was looking forward to seeing Hocus Pocus 2. What did you go into it hoping for or feeling?
So I guess nostalgia-wise, Hocus Pocus is a Halloween staple for me, kind of thing. I've already watched Halloween. or sorry, I've already watched Hocus Pocus
Oh,
for
nice.
Halloween, and then I
Right.
watched Hocus Pocus 2, kind of thing. So yeah, I was going in with a sense of nostalgia, but caution of kind of like trying to rekindle. I was just like, this is going to be a little bit different, kind of thing. It's going to be, they're not going to be able to capture the '90s kind of magic that was Hocus Pocus, and there was beats in it that really kind of took me out of it, because I guess I was still having the thought of Hocus Pocus in my head,
Right.
which we can come up with about like in a bit. But yeah, so I was walking in with kind of nostalgia for the old one and thinking that this was it's like, ooh, maybe they'll catch bottle lightning again, maybe.
Yeah. Well, this is where I become the pain in the ass on the channel again, because the original, like I say, no special place for me at all. Fine movie, that was it. And I understand its cultural significance, and I understand, but I don't think it's bad. It just, Smokey and the Bandit, not for everybody, was for me. Hocus Pocus was for everybody, wasn't for me. I saw this and I was thinking, okay, well, it's going to be interesting. It left me feeling weird because, again, I'm going to straight off the bat, I'm going to say cannot recommend unless you're watching with kids. I don't remember the original feeling as skewed towards the younger audience as this one. You know the way a lot of older movies tended to be able to do that family movie thing while still being very cool for young people and very good for older people. This one, I don't know what exact age group they were going for, but it felt like they had an age group in mind.
Yeah, I will agree. Like they did definitely lower the age group that this was targeted for. Like it felt like Hocus Pocus 1 was more targeted for kind of teenagers, but as you said, able to be watched by the family. This one felt like it was for younger than teenagers
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Which kind of disqualifies my ability to recommend or not recommend, if you know what I mean. It gives it that whole. I actually don't think this movie was too bad. It just really wasn't for me. I could have maybe watched it at a different time and been more in the mood for something that was skewed a lot younger. But I was sitting down to watch a movie, and what I got was something that, between flying Roombas and all the rest, it was just. It wasn't hitting me with any of the beats, and nobody in particular was doing a bad job, and I don't think it was even shot badly. Like, it was just very formulaic. There was, the three original sisters, and then there's the new coven, and you can kind of see a lot of the stuff being set up. It felt to me like the sort of thing when I was 8, I would watch a lot, and somebody would go, "That's crap," and by the time I'm 10, I'm like, I'm never watching it again, because I kind of get why it's not my thing now.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree. There's beats there because like in the first one there's a song, there's a musical number which is greatly placed. In this one there's two, and the first one seemed really weird.
Shoehorned. It
Yeah,
felt dropped in from the sky.
like
Yeah.
yeah, it felt really weird. The second musical number in it felt a little bit more natural again, but it felt like they were specifically trying to bottle once again, putting lightning in a bottle from the original one. But at least it made more story sense to do it there, kind of thing, which is great. Doug Jones as which was
The
Billy.
one other image that I've loaded up for sure, because talk about a highlight.
Yeah. Oh, that's yeah. My problem with Doug Jones is great. I love Billy, which is I love Doug Jones as Billy. They seem to give him a lot more. They really kind of like fancy Englished up his accent and gave him a weird kind of like he was in a subplot kind of thing, which is really weird. Whereas in the original one, he's a funny twist kind of thing. Whereas in this, it definitely felt like a cameo. It just felt like let's bring him back because everybody loves him.
But and that's the thing. I felt like, okay, cameras, stay with him. Let's not go back to the others. Let's not go back anywhere. I agree with everything you've just said. I 100% agree with. Unfortunately for me, I was looking for an oasis in a bit of a desert of entertainment. So I was grabbing onto it. And I think Doug Jones, a personal friend of Paul's, everybody, Doug Jones was, as he always is, impeccable.
Yeah. I will say that the ending hit me a little bit harder, and I guess that is because of a little bit of nostalgia going on. So like I won't spoil the ending for anyone, but I didn't think the movie would make me feel for for a certain character, which was weird. But also a very nice turn of events, I guess. So
I agree. I know exactly the scene. We can't talk about it. I'll spoil it for anybody, but anybody who's seen it will know in the comments. In fact, Paul, we should check out the comments at some stage here, because I know there's going to be at least one person who's seen Hocus Pocus. And yes, pop culture has. Didn't enjoy the sequel, had great moments, but when the first song comes on, it lost me. Yeah, so same. It was out of place, very much. My son and wife enjoyed it a little more, but no one has watched it again. That says a lot. Yeah, good point.
At least this one came out in October. The first one came out in July.
Hang on, Paul. When did it really come out this time?
Spooktober.
Every time I'm going to make you do it.
Just to put it, I think it came out in July. I think in the States. I think it came out because of a scheduling error. It's not a scheduling error, a blip.
Oh.
Where they had to. It's the same thing as Event Horizon, where Event Horizon came out because Titanic was being delayed. This came out in the States because something else was delayed. I think it came out in Europe in October, though.
Ladies and gentlemen, Paul managing to find a way to get Event Horizon into this show. Nice. Much respect.
But yeah, no, I do understand that. Yeah, it's a little bit better. The book had a better scene than the
the book actually got to star a little bit more than some of the other people, especially the third of the younger coven. You know, the lady. I'm not going to spoil the story, but one of the coven, the new three, isn't in as much of the movie as the other two, and I think the book definitely had a more starring role.
Yeah, it's true. My intrigue has diminished. I'm guessing that's for Hellraiser due to lack of scariness. Yeah, most of these are not scary. That's one thing I will say. As a horror fan, it's just the way it's going now. Now I have big thoughts for Smile. Hopefully,
it's getting good. Good reviews. Bruce says, I've never watched Hocus Pocus. It never appealed to me. Bruce, I guess, there's also a generational thing here. I hate to say it, because Hocus Pocus 2 hit aimed at an age younger than me, which, Paul, you were closer to when it hit. So, my Hocus Pocus is probably a different film. Overall, Paul, what, our 5-word review, you go first on Hocus Pocus 2.
It was an enjoyable film. Good at streaming.
Yeah, I'd say fine for the family, not for me. It was nothing wrong with it. Also, Bette Midler still great. There you go.
Yeah, the Sanderson sisters are still amazing.
Yeah,
so everybody in it was fun.
Everybody in it was fun. Yeah, actually, I think it's fair to say
the rumors.
If we're keeping Halloween Ends till last, then that means Werewolf by Night, which, for whatever reason, I have accidentally not sized the poster correctly for, so I'm just going to move on from it really quickly and instead do this. Whoops, bit of an error on my side. Werewolf by Night, Paul, is a Marvel special. So it's not a movie, it's not a series, it's a new category, which I'm very, very happy about. And here's why. I looked at it and it said 55 minutes long. Saw that it was black and white. It was obviously going to be harkening back to the old time movies, which we did a whole episode on when they were free on YouTube at one point. The originals, Frankenstein, Dracula, etc., Bride of Frankenstein, all that good stuff. It's, for me, that had me intrigued. I was like, okay, so are they going to have a go at doing one of those movies? Because those movies were not extra long. They were not 2-hour movies either, the originals. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, Paul. Loved this.
Yeah.
Loved this.
This is probably the one of these things that we may disagree on certain points, but overall this is a fantastic film or a fantastic show.
Yeah. And that's it. I consider it a fantastic film because it does the old time like the original horror genre,
length.
it does it so well down to the fact that it's a feature-length horror film in 55 minutes, which is just awesome. I loved it, and the kind of the cast, the leads that are on screen right now, casting in this movie, brilliant. I really enjoyed both of those. I thought they were great at this kind of initial aloof demeanor. It was I cannot pick something that I didn't like about this.
No, I think it was too short.
Because it was
Which
that
is,
good, you want more.
Oh, it was so good. It's such a good homage to it's such a good homage to what you get the old school films, the original kind of as you said, Dracula and Werewolf Man or Werewolf and everything like that. So just from the aesthetic point of view, it was a very good one. The story was very simple, which was also very nice kind of thing. You didn't have to be bogged down by, in like intrigue or espionage or any kind of thing. It was literally just, a very simple vehicle to kind of move the thing along, and the characters themselves made it more complicated.
Exactly. They set the table so quickly, and then instead of giving everybody exposition, which movies today would have to do, that the extra half hour that this movie would be longer, even as a 90-minute movie now, would have been wasted on stuff that you don't really need. Because the central conceit of this and the twist, which we're not going to give away, like they just let them happen. And you're like, yeah, cool, I'm in. This is great, and it looks gorgeous.
Feels very natural.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've pulled up a few of the side characters. We can run through some of the side characters just as far as, like, you got mean old lady, you got cool kind of hunter guy from Scotland who, sets the tone nice and early for what you're about to get.
Mm-hmm. We better go.
Like or subscribe or whatever. Not this time. All I want is your attention. I'm about to point you to another great channel, Pop Culture 33. This is a channel created and hosted by an actual historian and educator, so trust me, you're in good hands. Like movies, he's got you covered, with insights and opinion on the latest releases, classics, and great insights into technical topics like, is the IMAX format ruining movies? Not to mention, Pop Culture's encyclopedic knowledge of Disney's past and present is something that few can match. Pop Culture is a collector too. He has a DVD, Blu-ray and book collection that any entertainment fan would be envious of. And he pulls some great rarities from his archives. Do yourself a favour and check out his channel. Links are in the description down below. Don't forget to subscribe while you're over there. Tell him Hear Us Out sent you. Sorry about that, Paul. Thank you for trying to save us just in time. Mostly covered over. Also, apologies if that ad had a bit of a stutter at the start of it. That was my internet, not the ad itself. That ad will get run again very soon. That ad, by the way, folks, for Pop Culture 33, there's big stuff coming on the horizon there. Watch out for that in the channel. Really looking forward to the next videos. Now, Paul, back to Werewolf by Night, because I'm not finished gushing.
No. You're talking about the side characters.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of hunters who hunt monsters in this, and there's obviously a setup. It's goofy, it's silly, it's fun. It goes in lots of nice directions. But even so, one of the guys on screen right now, big kind of Viking-y looking Scottish dude, brilliant comedic effect, then used later on in a good way. My favorites from an aesthetic point of view, where they had the one person all in white in a black and white movie, I thought, nice, that worked really well. Everybody worked. I don't think they were missing a stereotype that they didn't use as far as the hunters go.
Not even the hunters. They had the kind of old lady, the mysterious old angry lady, as you were saying. They had the servants, the butler, sniveling character, which was a great which is a great stereotype.
Love that.
And yeah, the fair amount of hunters that kind of different. You had your quick ones and your strong ones and your devious ones and all, which was a nice plethora of kind of like
Yeah.
different hunting methods, I guess, which was also very indicative to the characters that they played. Some of the characters don't get enough time, but they're not meant to,
That's it.
kind of thing. You just glare. You're just like hunter, cool, and then they may pass or do something and get themselves removed. But you're not in any way kind of going, oh, I wish I knew more about them, or I care about them, or anything like that. You're just like, they're gone, great, cool, move on. As I said, the plot made it the plot and making it more about the character interactions and stuff like that, which is very old school. Felt very natural.
Yeah.
It all felt very natural, which is great.
It really did. And, there's no hiding that there's a werewolf in this. Werewolf by Night kind of gives it away.
Yeah.
I loved the transformation scene. Not just the setup, which when they set it all up, I was tingling going, oh, they've done so well visually up until now. I know I'm going to get something that I'm going to love. It's watching somebody cook your favorite meal, and I could smell it. It was coming to the table, and then as it happened and the way it was shot, oh, yum, 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 yum. I absolutely loved it. I'm looking forward to watching this again at Halloween. 55 minutes long, folks. You can watch this and still watch something else. This is, I know this is going to be part of my viewing cycle every Halloween for quite a long time.
My suggestion with this one would be to start it. If you're not starting off with kind of like Hocus Pocus or the Curse of Bridge Town or something like that, some low end kind of thing, start off with this. Start off your Halloween watching with this.
Yeah.
This will definitely get you into the classical kind of Halloween movie thing, and then you can go on to your other movies.
So let's just check the commentos, Paul, because I hope one of our regular viewers, Brew here, has often lamented how long movies have gotten, and we just recommended The Antidote. And after we do some comments, we'll give it a 5-word review and get out of here to the last one. Where are we?
So I wish Werewolf was shot on film. The natural film grain on the black and white would have added so much.
True. They tried to digitally recreate it. There's artifacting here and there, and some of it's super obvious because both myself and my wife, there was one of the ring, the
cigarette
tape
burns.
rings. Yeah, I just loved it. But yeah, shooting it on original film would have been nice.
It would have been good. I did enjoy that because if anyone doesn't know what cigarette burns are essentially let the person who's changing the films, know that it's coming to the end. And the reason that I know that is because it is explained in Fight Club.
Yeah, along with people cutting in some dodgy slides.
But it's essentially marks when they are going to change over the reel for film, and it did have fake ones in it at halfway points.
Yeah.
Which is a great kind of authentic thing.
Time to switch the reels. Yeah, awesome.
So I think the reason that they didn't actually go full 35mm kind of filming on kind of older cameras was because of the final transition. I think that's why they didn't. And it's not impossible for them to put a filter onto the whole thing or anything like that. I actually might do that myself and just see what it's like. It was no matter what, it was just a fantastic settings, everything. It was a perfect piece of kind of nostalgia, callback to old school horror films.
So, Paul, 5-word review, or however many words comes to you.
Oh God, well worth a watch. Like favorite of the night.
Yeah, there you go. It's short, it's brilliant. Watch it. That's 6, but the 5 is ceremonial only. So, Paul, we finally got there. We finally got to the end. The Halloween ends, or does it? It really should have a subtitle. Halloween ends. Maybe this time, depending on how we do and money. Like, it might be the last one Jamie Lee Curtis ever does. I get that. I get that she will probably say, when she said she's not doing another one now, that she's not doing another one. She has said that before, but I believe her this time.
She has, but I think I think the thing is that this is so for anyone. Halloween Ends is essentially the um, final entry into what's called the Laura timeline one, which includes. And you stay with me, guys.
I'm gonna put
Halloween.
something on screen for a moment for you there, Paul, because Laurie Strode is in. How did you put it? Was it how many and a half of these movies?
She's in 7.5 Halloweens.
Yes. I would just like to call out, Paul, the screenshot that is now taking over your entire screen. This is from a video that we have linked down below, and I will add as an end link that we did. We used to do a little series called Tuesday Trivia where we did little short, snappy, kind of 5 to 8 minute videos talking trivially about the trivia in movies. Had to make this graphic. We're missing 2 movies. We're missing last year's Halloween Kills and this year's Halloween Ends. But you can see the Halloween franchise is nuts.
Yep.
It's just pure nuts. Now, Paul, try and make sense of it for the people if you like.
No.
Okay. Yeah, watch our video. We put a lot of effort into making that make sense.
Yeah, it's a lot better to kind of go through it because there's several timelines, and as I said, this is known as the Laura Strode timeline because it kind of completes her story. It starts with Halloween, which is the original one. It starts with Halloween, which was from 2018. Then there's Halloween Kills, which was from last year, and then there's Halloween End, which is 2022. It is Halloween, and as I said, Laura. Jamie Lee Curtis has been in 7.5 of these films. I would like to point out that the half is because in Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, she is an announcer.
Yes.
It's a kind of a cameo piece rather than her actually. She isn't playing Laura or anything like that. So,
and Paul, our graphic isn't perfect, but it does tell you that there are 3 films called Halloween in the Halloween franchise. 2 of them are actually Halloween ones, but one of the ones that's called Halloween is actually a Halloween 2. There are also 2 Halloween 2 films that are called Halloween 2, but technically there are really 3 Halloween 2s because one of the Halloween ones that's called Halloween is actually a Halloween 2. See, folks, the Michael Myers and all of the people making these movies need to be stopped for other reasons than killing. It's a mind bender. I'll pull that down now, Paul, so we can actually talk about Halloween Ends.
So, so this is Halloween Ends. It's the 4th film in the lore things. This is probably my weakest film out of the 4 films we got.
I can see that. I would watch it probably before Hellraiser. But again, I kind of get where you're coming from.
Yeah, my problem with the film is the first Michael Myers murder doesn't happen until 57 minutes into the film.
Well, spoilers ahead.
Not full spoilers.
Yeah, actually, you know what? Not even spoilers ahead, but there's enough in the promotional material that lets you know this is supposed to be a bit of a grudge match, a final showdown, if you will, between Jamie Lee Curtis and Michael Myers. Michael Myers is Michael Myers as you'd remember him. Again, boiler suit, knife, crappy Shatner mask, but they also add kind of other characters like from Halloween Kills. The her granddaughter, who that actress I thought was actually doing a great job in this movie, even though the movie kept going downhill. Her character was terribly written, but I actually think the actress was doing quite a good job. Similar to Jamie Lee Curtis, I think she brought her A game. I can't say that everybody else did. But there's another character in this, and I don't know how much we want to spoil anything, but let's just say it becomes obvious pretty early on that there's more than one psycho in the film.
Yeah. So I also believe that the person who plays the granddaughter is also in Halloween, the 2018 one.
Yeah, because her mother is in it too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's a bit of a weird one. But yeah. So there's an introduction of a character called Corey, who is also a town legend, in a different fashion, which goes very misunderstood. The character was interesting up to a point,
Yeah.
but the acting was obvious. Would be the best way
Thank
to
you for being
describe it.
polite. Thank you. Yeah, obvious is a good way to put it.
But the rest of the characters are all kind of are grand, which is most of the other characters in this are stereotypical kind of members of a small town, so it wasn't too bad. The main cast, being Laura and her granddaughter, are on par with what they were for Halloween and Halloween Kills. Jamie Lee Curtis actually, I think, ups this one from Halloween Kills. She's great in Halloween. It feels like it's not because Jamie Curtis doesn't need money. It feels like it's kind of like, it feels like Halloween Kills is very much the middle movie of this group, and it feels like it doesn't actually fit,
Right.
kind of thing. It definitely feels like it's the village people getting together to fight the monster.
Yeah. But, Paul, I'm going to ask a weird question. Because I kind of felt sorry for this film after I watched it, because I watched it and went, that wasn't particularly brilliant now, was it? And then my brain kind of went, but how was it on the grand scheme of Halloween films? Because if you compare it to the original Halloween, no. But if you compare a lot of the Halloweens to the original Halloween film, no. So it had a lot of good Jamie Lee Curtis being good. It had, like you say, it had an interesting opening angle on some things. It had an interesting character up to a point. Like I say, the actress playing the granddaughter, whose name I should have here, but I don't, she was, like, I think she was acting in a very natural fashion for the first, let's say, act of the movie.
Yeah.
It had some good stuff, which can't be said even about all of the Halloween movies. So it's not the worst. If you're in the mood to watch a Halloween movie that you haven't seen, this fits that bill. It's a Halloween movie you haven't seen. There's my 5-word or less review for this. It's a Halloween movie you haven't seen yet, if you haven't seen it yet. But I wouldn't bother watching it unless you really want to see a Halloween movie that you haven't seen yet.
It's a real
That's all it
difficult
is.
one.
Yeah.
It's a real difficult one. Okay, so for me, I'm judging this on the timeline it's in, because there is some shockingly bad Halloween films out there.
Yeah.
Like
This is
the
true.
cult of Myers and stuff like that, and the Season of the Witch one, man, that's a genius one. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you got to go back to that film or to our video on the timeline. But I judge each one that's on the timeline that it's on, kind of thing, because these are kind of they've been made pretty quickly together. Halloween is great. I will say that it's a great continuation. Halloween Kills feels like definitely that middle child that was kind of jury rigged in there. This one feels like if you took parts of Halloween Kills and took parts of Halloween Ends and put them together, you would actually have a really good ending to the Halloween
Franchise.
Part size.
That timeline. Yeah, and you know what? I don't want to put people off this too much, Paul. I really don't. Like, I think if you're into Halloween movies, or even if you just have a bit of nostalgia, you're not going to be like, oh my, I wasted all my time. Like, there's enough in it to keep you sitting in your seat. If you're into the whole seeing Mike Myers again and having Halloween around Halloween, I would not say, oh, this is one that, if you don't get to see it this year, come January or February, take your time and watch this. You kind of have to watch it if you're in the Halloween spirit, and Halloween has to mean something to you. Like the Mike Myers Halloweens have to mean something to you for this to actually be something that you'll enjoy sitting through. And even then, enjoy is a pushed term. In fact, I'll give it to Hellraiser that Hellraiser was shot better than this. Actually, of all the movies on this list, I think Hellraiser had some decent shots here and there. It was technically all right set up in places.
I would say out of 3 of the films, because we still got the Werewolf of Midnight. So
Fair point. I'm discounting it as
Yeah.
just it's in a different league altogether.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
My thing with this one would be, and probably harsher, Watch the last 40 minutes of the film. You'll get what you want.
Yeah, that's true. Watch the last 40
That's
minutes of the film, you get what you want. But I think the best of the film is maybe in the first 30. Genuinely.
really.
Yeah, really. And we can't really talk about why because we're going to spoil the heck out of everything.
That'll be an interesting one to discuss, maybe at a later date, kind of thing. Go through.
You
this
have to take it
timeline.
in the context of me not thinking this is a great film. But yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking that you're defending this and kind of like this deserves an Oscar. Nothing like that. I'm more kind of like, wow, even as a bad film, like you're defending the first half hour.
It's on that kind of unexpected scale. Like not the execution as much as maybe the feeling that they were going to go somewhere brave. Because there is a feeling that they're going to go somewhere brave, and that feeling left after the first act. Let's say. We can't spoil this, folks.
You know.
Let us know what you think of our picks or our thoughts. These are 4 films that, like I say, everybody can see relatively easily. So if you've seen one of these already, let us know what you think in the comments down below. If you watch one and you agree or disagree, please feel free to come back or tweet at us or do whatever. But whatever you do, share it out, tell your friends, and have a good Halloween because you can see even more of Paul by going to Paul.
Homebrew Quest, which is a D&D show based in Hibernia, a mythological version of Ireland, with drinks.
There you go.
It's good.
10 out of 10 would recommend. You can also see more of me here because we have a whole video library that you should go back to, but also it's in the description below. If you're watching this live, there won't be an end card, but if you're watching this later, there'll be an end card pointing to our Halloween trivia. It is well worth watching us for 8 minutes try and make sense of the crazy soup that was Halloween circa 2018, I think, or 2019, whenever that video was. So yeah, I want to say we should. Oh, hey, there was a few more comments. Sorry, I missed that.
So I like the look of it. This is to do with Werewolf. I like the look of it. Big up 55-minute long movies. It is a very good homage. I heard that Halloween 2018 was just to be 2 movies, but since it did so well that the studio made the creators do a third and threw off the story.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it yet. Watching Saturday. Yeah, I do think it. I watched a couple of online reviews and they were pretty bad. It was not the movie it was not the movie you think it was going to. Was the comment? Yeah, that would be the. So I should skip it. Look, this is the thing: is it completes the Jamie Lee Curtis franchise or like timeline.
It's worth it for her.
It completes it well.
Yeah, it's worth it for her. That's actually probably what I'll say about that movie then.
I heard if you take the ending of End and put it at the ending of Kills, it would fix a lot of yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't heard that, but yeah. Yeah. Again, spoiler territory. Paul, can people help us out? They can help us out in at least 3 ways. By liking, sharing, and subscribing. Most of all, thank you very much for watching. My personal preference for how you help, other than sharing with other people, because we'd like to spread our nonsense wide, is do comment. Let us know what you think of things. Get your friends in there to comment too. But you can also send money just to me. I'm Patrick at the guy on the internet. Don't send any to Paul.
Also, coming up will be YouTube handles. So you will be able to tag us in items and stuff like that we can reply back to as well, just as a coming up kind of future thing.
And as soon as the YouTube Help Center gets back to me, we'll also have our community tab open. Congratulations! I see Pop Culture's community tab is already automatically open, so good job. Paul. On that note, you want to walk us out of here for Spooktober? I did it.
So. If you want to hear anything more about some horror movies or anything like that, do message us on the socials, which you can see them below. But thank you very much for watching. I've been Paul.
I've been Patrick.
And we've been Hear Us Out at Spooktober.
He knew I wasn't going to end until he did it again. Love you, Paul. Bye, everybody.
Bye.